detonate 19 enormous mines under the enemy position.
Whoa! Holy!
It's the largest man-made explosion in history to date, and paves the way.
Really? World War I, 1917! It's a month since I did a reaction to this. Oh my gosh, man. So, gotta continue this.
In 1916, World War I became a war of attrition. Both sides began to focus less on winning victory on the battlefield than grinding down the enemy and inflicting such enormous losses they would be forced to surrender.
War of attrition, man.
The strategy will push Europe's major powers to the brink of collapse.
1917, this was a critical year. This is, I think 1917 was the year where, like, both sides, and when I say both sides, I mean like Germany, specifically Germany, had to have done something. Like 1916 was a bit low, but 1917, honestly, 1917 should have been a year where like the Allies should have lost. In my personal opinion, like the Allies were stretched. Like Germany was stretched, but honestly, everyone was stretched, right? So. The breaking point.
Germany knows it will lose a long war of attrition against the Allies, who have greater resources. So its leaders gamble. They resume unrestricted submarine warfare, believing their U-boats can cut off Britain's food imports by sea.
It's not fair. I always view how America treated Germany with unrestricted submarine warfare. It wasn't fair. Because America was using civilian ships and transporting weapons on them and supplies to Britain. So Germany was justified. It's just complete ridiculous how biased, and you could debate me if you want on this, but America was clearly biased towards Germany, clearly had a bias for the Allies. Like, it's just ridiculous, man. Like, oh my gosh, like, if Germany did unrestricted submarine warfare, because, Germany restricted it a few times, honestly, Britain would have been in a probably worse state. But no. And not only that, but Germany was, it's not even like Germany was indiscriminately just sinking any and everything. No, Germany was still trying to somewhat follow international law, which is why, and Germany didn't want to provoke America, which is why, they eventually restricted submarine warfare. Not only that, but when they did say, hey guys, we're doing unrestricted submarine warfare, they announced it. So if they announce it, if someone tells you, hey, I'm gonna do something, don't go into that direction or you might get hit, would you still go in that direction? Most likely not. So all of these civilians who are literally going to Britain who goes to a war zone? I mean, come on. Who goes to a war zone? But then, America wants to get angry when the Lusitania got sunk. Which literally had weapons on it, by the way. I mean, it's ridiculous. Germany was completely justified with their submarine warfare. You could quote what I said. Let us continue.
And starve the country into surrender within 6 months. But the new shoot-on-sight tactics mean neutral American ships will inevitably be caught in the crossfire, risking.
And that's why you don't, come on, you don't trade. You don't trade. You do two things in this situation. A, you tell Germany, if you shoot at my ships, that they will defend themselves, which is a normal, pretty understandable response. Or B, you just stop trading. Now, I know someone's gonna go in the comments most likely and be like, oh, well, trade was super important. I know trade is super important, but I'm just saying the two options that you have. Because in my personal opinion, I feel like America just wanted a casus belli against Germany. And they just use the U-boats kind of as an excuse, kind of.
America joining the war on the Allied side. Just 2 days into the campaign, the SS Housatonic, an American steamer carrying wheat from Galveston, Texas to England, is sunk by a U-boat. The British then pass to the US government a telegram they've intercepted from German Foreign Secretary Arthur Zimmermann to the German ambassador in Mexico. Germany is encouraging Mexico to attack America if America and Germany end up at war. The so-called Zimmermann telegram puts yet more pressure on US President Wilson to declare war on Germany.
Whoa! Let's talk about this. The Zimmermann telegram. Intercepted by Britain way before they showed it to America. But you see what the British did, or should I say what British intelligence did and government. They waited until the right moment. Literally, like they held the telegram, but they didn't want to show it yet. They waited until the right moment, okay? And this was the right moment, right? I mean, it goes to show you how the Allies was begging America to join the war, right? Because the Allies were bound to lose. I mean, yes, you have the Royal Navy, right? You have the Royal Navy blockading Germany, but Russia is, gonna get defeated. There's no way, and not only that, but Britain's being blockaded by U-boats themselves. I mean, Germany, it's just criminal to me how Germany just lost World War I. It's just so criminal to me. And honestly, it's kind of a bit unfair, in my personal opinion, right?
In Russia, enormous casualties and bread shortages lead to riots and revolution.
I have reacted to so much Russian revolution videos.
A provisional government takes charge, pledging to continue the war. But at the front, Russian troops begin to desert en masse.
Bro, on one of my Russian Eastern, I think this is my World War I Eastern Front, which was basically like World War I Eastern Front in much more detail. Bro, someone in my comments told me that that Russian soldiers had I forgot what it was called, but they basically said that Russian soldiers at the front would literally like do a little vote, I think, to see if they feel like attacking or not. Like they wouldn't follow like higher command orders. They would just have a vote to just do you feel like attacking, yes or no, basically. I'm like, what in the world? Oh my gosh, this is freaking wild. Let's continue.
After a string of German provocations, the US finally declares war on Germany. It brings immense resources to the Allied cause, but they will take many months to mobilize. And the German gamble of unrestricted submarine warfare may still pay off. April is the U-boat's most successful month of the war.
Oh, really?
They sink 886,000 tons of Allied shipping, an average of 17 ships a day, all packed with urgently needed food and supplies.
Oh.
Britain will face starvation if the U-boats are not defeated soon.
Crazy to me. Crazy to me, bro. Germany was facing starvation too. Because the Royal Navy was blockading Britain. Not Britain. The Royal Navy was blockading Germany. But I would argue that Britain was in a much worse position than Germany. Because when Russia left the war, Germany still had like land routes, especially Ukraine, right? Ukraine and its vital wheat, right? The problem that happened, in my personal opinion, was by the time Russia left, America was coming. So Germany couldn't really consolidate its vast eastern gains, right? But I'm sure if America did not get involved, and as soon as they did, and Germany was able to consolidate all of their gains in the east, maybe things would have been different with all the vast resources, of course, that Ukraine, Belarus, and the Baltics possess. Especially Ukraine, definitely Ukraine. I think Germany even had the Caucasus. They took the Caucasus as well in a peace treaty of Brest-Litovsk. I think they did, or was that the Ottoman Empire? I don't know. But the point is, oh my gosh, it's just mind-boggling to me how Germany just did not win. Everything favored Germany, bro. Like, holy crap. Let us continue.
On the Western Front, the British launched the Battle of Arras, a diversion to support a major upcoming French offensive. After heavy fighting, Canadian troops seized the high ground of Vimy Ridge. It's a limited Allied victory, but costs 150,000 Allied casualties to 130,000 German.
But in the span of what, though?
Trenches, the First Air War has reached new levels of sophistication and deadliness.
Oh, is that so?
Reconnaissance aircraft are crucial for spotting enemy positions and directing artillery fire onto them.
Oh.
Scout aircraft or fighters try to shoot them down before they can execute their mission. New models of aircraft are developed every few months. But that spring, the superiority of German aircraft leads to heavy Allied losses in what becomes known as Bloody April.
Dude, I swear, Germany, everything favored Germany, bro. What I mean, everything favored Germany. Oh my gosh.
After the fall of Vimy Ridge, French General Robert Nivelle launches his main offensive. Expectations are high. But after initial success, the advance bogs down, and casualties quickly mount on both sides.
One of these pointless
The apparently
offensive
senseless losses cause morale in the French army to collapse.
Oh my gosh, are these actual images of the soldiers on the ground? Oh my gosh, dude, before, when I was clicking on the video, YouTube legit gave me a warning. They gave me a warning. Do you understand that these have graphic content? Oh gosh, I hope my video doesn't get restricted because I'm reacting to this bloody hell. Oh freaking hell, dude.
Whole units mutiny, refusing to attack. General Nivelle is sacked as French commander-in-chief and replaced by General Pétain, hero of Verdun, who promises no more suicidal attacks.
Yeah!
That summer, at Messines Ridge,
A freaking dude, 1917, and you're still doing suicidal attacks? Like what?
the British tunnel under the German lines and detonate 19 enormous mines under the enemy position.
Whoa! Holy!
It's the largest man-made explosion in history to date and paves the way.
Really? And I've never heard of this until now. What? The largest? What? How big was this explosion? What?
Mines under the enemy position. It's the largest man-made explosion in history to date and paves the way to a
crazy.
brilliant but highly local British victory.
That is wild to me. Today, you're telling me nothing? I mean, come on, dude. The amount of bombs and explosions that we have done is the year. This is 100, no, more than 100 years later. And yet nothing still hasn't beaten that. What in the world? I feel ashamed that I didn't know that. I feel ashamed I didn't know that until now. Freaking hell, man. This is why I do these reactions, dude, because there's a lot of stuff that I just don't know. Alright, let us continue.
Highly local British victory. In Greece, King Constantine, who has favoured neutrality, is forced to abdicate, and Greece joins the Allies.
Of course.
Russia's provisional government orders a new attack, but the July offensive is a disaster. The morale and discipline of the Russian army has collapsed. It can no longer be relied on to fight, and the Central Powers' counterattack is almost unopposed. At sea, the Allies begin to group their merchant ships into convoys, which sail under naval escort. The new system leads to a steady fall in losses. The tide is turning in the U-boat war.
Uh-oh.
On June 6th.
As discontent with the war grows in Germany, the German parliament, the Reichstag, passes a peace resolution, calling for a peace of understanding and reconciliation. It's ignored by the German High Command, which now effectively rules the country as a military dictatorship.
So I've heard this. I have heard this, actually. I've heard that the German parliament did try to attempt peace, but the German High Command did not. Wow. Yeah, honestly, they should have just accepted that. Now, I'm using a bit of hindsight, but even, like, it doesn't take a genius to look at the situation and see that, hey, this isn't really looking too good for us. You know, we done a lot. Let's try to peace out now before, you know, I don't like to curse, but before shit hits the fan. Because, like, you know, like I said, doesn't. I mean, Russia. You know, Russia is on its last legs, but with America joining the U-boats steadily, like, going down, yeah. I mean, if the U-boats was still, like, you know, being peaked, losing like 600 tons, like what the Germans wanted, sure. You know, I would say, hey, okay, whatever, that's fine. Keep it going, but yeah, it's steadily decreasing. America is coming, you know, yeah. The German Reichstag, they had the right right thing in mind. The German High Command, yeah, they were living in their delusional world at this point.
In Belgium, the British launched their major offensive of 1917, the Third Battle of Ypres. It will be remembered as Passchendaele. Heavy shelling, rain and broken irrigation channels turned the battlefield into a sea of mud. In these impossible conditions, all hopes of a breakthrough soon fade.
World War
The
I
attack
battle.
is called off after 3 months, by
3
which point
months.
the British have suffered 240,000 casualties.
Bro,
The Germans...
Bro, let me tell you something, bro. Like, watching all these World War I videos, all these casualties at this point, it's just like, oh, they did a senseless attack that went nowhere and they suffered a high amount of casualties. Whoa. Not surprising at this point. Oh my gosh, dude. I've become so numb to it compared to, like, my previous reactions. Oh my freaking gosh.
200,000.
200,000. What the heck, dude?
On the Italian front, at the 11th Battle of the Isonzo, Italian and Austro-Hungarian forces batter each other into exhaustion.
That battle is such a meme.
150,000 Italian casualties, 100,000 Austro-Hungarian.
It's a meme, dude. 11th battle? Oh my gosh.
That year, 1917, the list of allied nations grows. Brazil, Liberia, China, and Siam. All
China and Siam was in the Allies? What? Also, this was really a what? Come on, look at this. Oh, this is not fair. Oh my god.
declare war on Germany as a result of German U-boat attacks, or to curry favour with the Allies.
Oh, what the
China
hell?
will contribute many thousands of labourers working for the Allies in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia.
So, let's talk about laborers, shall we? So, the Caribbean, the British Caribbean at this time, they were very much involved in World War One. And yeah, they had troops in Egypt fighting. Yes. The West Indies Regiment. You can go look them up if you want. They were fighting in Egypt, Palestine. You know, they distinguished themselves pretty good. But, and this is something a lot of people tend to look over when it comes to World War One. Labor was super important, like logistics and whatnot. And this is where like the Caribbean, like British Caribbean, really like came into play, right? They had a lot of people that they sent to Europe and Egypt and other fronts and theaters to use as laborers. So whilst all of the fighting was happening, a couple miles behind, those people were the ones who were helping, making sure that the roads were done properly, right? The tracks were done properly, right? Doing all of the logistics, making sure the supplies get where they're supposed to, etc., etc. Now, both World War One and World War Two, honestly, I just look at that as a Commonwealth, like a Commonwealth group effort, right? Like each and every Commonwealth country, whether it be India, Australia, Canada, Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, or Nigeria, or South Africa, right? I just view that as a Commonwealth effort because I see so many people around the Commonwealth, and they're always like, oh, don't forget about, insert whatever Commonwealth country. I'm just gonna say, oh, the Indians really played their part. Like, yes, they did. Everyone played their part, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, man. I just feel like, look, I get it, right? You want recognition. Who doesn't want recognition? But I just feel like it's just like, it should just be, I just recognize it as, everyone in the Commonwealth did their own thing, and I feel like more people should just recognize it as such, but, that's just a me thing. Let's continue. Middle East, 1917. He wasn't really talking about this.
That year in the Middle East, British forces avenged their 1916 humiliation at Kut by defeating the Ottoman Turks and marching on to occupy Baghdad.
Right, they came in clutch.
British forces in Egypt advance across the Sinai Desert.
Okay, this was where the West Indies Regiment was at. Right here. I don't think they were fighting over here, but I do know they were fighting in here. I think it was like 17,000 troops from the British West Indies, because remember, back then, there was no such thing as Jamaica, Bahamas, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, St. Vincent. No, it was just you were just a part of the British West Indies, or you were just British, right? Literally, like that's literally what they call themselves. They were like, oh yeah, I'm British, right? So yeah, this is where they were fighting at, right? I think like 2/3 of the British West Indies came from what is now Jamaica. So vast majority of them were Jamaican. So yeah, cool fact. A lot of people tend to gloss them over. Just keep showing a bit of recognition.
But are thrown back by Ottoman forces at the First and Second Battles of Gaza.
Golly! Expected
In July,
better.
Arab rebels capture the strategic Ottoman port of Aqaba. They are accompanied by a British military advisor, Captain T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia.
Bro, he's glazing, bro.
That autumn,
He's glazing
British
us in
Foreign
that photo.
Secretary Arthur Balfour issues the Balfour Declaration, expressing support for the creation of a national home for the Jews in Palestine.
Oh, this is where the whole...
aim is to rally Jewish support for the Allies, but the declaration contradicts existing pledges to Arab leaders.
No. Classic Britain lying to everyone for their own gain. Oh my gosh.
In October, the British finally win at Gaza, clearing the way for an advance into Palestine. 6 weeks later, General Allenby leads British troops into Jerusalem, ending 400 years of Ottoman rule.
I'm gonna get...
Alright.
With Russian forces in disarray, Germany is able to move troops from the east to the Italian front.
Whoa, Germans.
At the Battle of Caporetto, they helped to smash through the Italian army, advancing 70 miles and taking 250,000 prisoners.
Yikes. 250,000. Wow.
British and French divisions, desperately needed on the Western Front, have to be redeployed to shore up the line.
Can we talk about Bulgaria? Can we talk about how Bulgaria down here is just holding this off by themselves? Okay, Bulgaria needs a lot more credit. Okay.
In Russia, a second revolution brings Lenin's Bolshevik party to power. He is determined to end Russia's involvement in the war. In France, Georges Clemenceau becomes prime minister. Nicknamed the Tiger, he promises total war and total victory.
Total
But
war?
for the Allies in late 1917, final victory looks uncertain.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Russia
saying.
has
Total
stopped
war?
fighting.
Total war? Dude, the French military, didn't France run out of manpower in 1917? The only reason why France didn't lose was because America came in time. But if I'm not mistaken, France literally like bled their manpower pool dry. That's the thing. And this is why I said Germany should have won World War One. The German strategy worked. The German strategy against the Allies actually worked. What the Germans did, bringing Lenin to Russia to cause chaos, worked, right? And eventually he took over and he peaced out with the Germans, right? Then the strategy against France to bleed France dry of manpower also worked. The U-boat tactic was also working. Like everything worked. But America just completely was just that one variable that just literally just flipped the whole table. That's why I'm like, holy, it's just wild to me how everything worked for Germany basically, and they still lost.
French armies are recovering from mutiny. The Italian front has almost collapsed, and American reinforcements still seem a long way off. For the time being, the British are the only effective Allied force in the field. So the British attack at Cambrai with the first major tank assault in history.
Oh, tanks!
On the first day, nearly 400 tanks spearhead an advance of several miles through German defences. But then the tanks break down or are knocked out. The Germans rush in reinforcements, and the gains are lost.
Oh, wow. So all that for nothing. Wow. Also, what are they doing with that tank? What are they doing?
Declares
What the heck?
independence from Russia. Romania, isolated by the Russian collapse, signs an armistice with the Central Powers.
Things are looking
6
up.
days later, Russia also signs an armistice. The Allied Eastern Front is no more. 1917 has seen one major Allied power, Russia, knocked out of the war. But the arrival of a fresh new ally, America.
Yeah.
Germany knows only military victory can now save it from being overwhelmed by Allied resources, and begins planning one last massive onslaught for the spring of 1918.
The Kaiserschlacht, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Epic History TV.
That was. I honestly might check out his Patreon page because his Blackbeard series does seem interesting. I'm not too sure yet, but I don't know. I would love to do reactions to his like Patreon videos, but I don't know. Maybe that would get copyrighted, so I don't know if I should do that. Anyways, you made it all the way to the end of the video. Make sure you subscribe. If you made it all the way to the end, that means you probably like what I have to say. If you like what I have to say, subscribe for more future reactions, because believe me, I always have a lot to say in my reactions. I mean, that was like one of the main reasons why I started this channel, because I wanted to have a platform to speak my opinion on a lot of this stuff that I like to learn about. Oh my gosh, dude! I mean, another Epic History TV banger, of course. Make sure you like the video so that YouTube could recommend it to more people. If you have anything to say to me in the comments, do tell me in the comments. If you have any suggestions, tell me in the comments below as well. I will get to it eventually. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned and goodbye.